YouTubers and YouTubers out there. I got a traditional video for you today I hope you're going to like. It's a little bit different. It's an experience I had on building a rifle, but not just any rifle, a rifle that anybody can build. My face is looking awful red. Anyways, so what am I talking about today? I'm talking about a modern firearm that is not even regulated with inside Canada, which is great. So let's have a look and see a quick view of what we're talking about. Here's what we're talking about right here. Here it is, y'all. It is a tradition flintlock rifle. Anyways, so these tradition rifles, you can buy them complete or you can buy them in kits. This was bought as a kit a while back when I was on a road trip. I really loved it. I went down to, oh darn it, sorry, let me pause for a second while I figure out where I went. Alright, now I remember. So I picked this up when I was on vacation on a road trip in Dixie Gun Works, which I believe is around the Kentucky, Tennessee area. Great little place. If you never checked them out, go ahead online, look at them. They have a lot of high quality modern reproductions. They sell antiques. They sell all that kind of stuff. Can't link to them because it is firearms related. But here we go. So black powder is key. And in Canada, the key to making this a non-firearm or an antique is the fact that it's flintlock. If this was percussion, it'd be a rifle. If it was a handgun, like length, it would be considered a handgun in Canada, and which are prohibited. Don't ask. Life is nuts right now in Canada. So my experience, I bought this as a kit, and I did do a couple modifications, not a lot, to the actual kit itself. One of the big ones I added was the patch box. Right now it's plain. I'd love to engrave it, but my skills aren't there yet. But I did inlay it and set everything for the patch block. You can see there's quite a bit of engraving on the back here. Something which I've never done before. This was my first attempt. So for all you people who are naysayers, have a look, and that's too dark. Alright, so let's have a look at some of the engravings here. Then to brighten things up a bit. Motif, I wanted to keep something, intertwined, little English style. And you have essentially a tree here, and then you just have some decorative carving around the wrist. This was fun. I like doing this, just the way you kind of cut it out and you get this kind of nice little dip. That I like. Very traditional. The stock carving, somewhat traditional, but my style. And on the other side, you can see the tree motif continues, and it wraps not all the way around the top, but it's pretty closely connected. The bottom's blank. I just use really cheap carving tools, the kind you get from like the dollar store. So, like I said, first time carving into wood, and I'm happy with it. So you might be able to tell the motif here. There's an apple, and then there's a serpent. So, kind of tells you, right? It's the Adam and Eve going off the idea of Prometheus and stuff like that. There's a flower I carved there. This was all done a long time ago. A long time ago, as in like 10 years or so. The other aspect I added to this rifle was the serpent. This was sand-cast serpent, picked up again at Dixie Gun Works. A lot of these little details, including the patch box, this, and on the back here is another one I like. I've inlaid this. You can kind of tell it used to be a pendant. This is sterling silver. And it's a replication of a trade cross you would have seen given to the First Nations people, or as you in America call them, Indians, but they're not from India. So those are the modifications that I've done to the stock. When it comes to assembly, the only real part of assembly that was required any sort of fitting was the butt plate, and that really wasn't that hard because this wood comes all in the white. It's oak. So part of the problem was it just wasn't bending right, but this brass, with a little bit of, manpower, you can kind of start to get it cupped right. And then the other aspect was it would hang over. If you were looking at it from straight down, it'd be like hanging over the edge here, poking out. That was pretty simple to take care of with a belt sander. And you had to like replane the contours a little bit. But very minor, and I think it came out quite nice. I can see little areas here where it's a bit rough right now. Not really sure how that happened. Like I said, the rifle's getting a bit old. My disappointing aspect to this was the barrel. And I say disappointing not in the way it was manufactured or anything of that sort, but I spent so much time trying to finish this barrel, and what I ended up doing was going with a cold blue. And a cold blue is not a bad idea. It's just not a great idea. It's to me it was a stopgap. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be browning this, and after we take a look at the inside of this a little bit, I'll show you the browning technique I'm going to use to get this done in a separate video. So it comes with the ramrod. Again, one of the points I don't really like is this is a plastic ramrod. Practicality, it's great. Traditionally, it's plastic, so that kind of speaks everything for itself. To disassemble this guy for cleaning, and also there's a wedge. I'm sure you guys know these from the Colts. There is a screw back here. The screw doesn't need to be touched. I like bringing this back to at least a half cock, and then out comes your barrel. So that's pretty straightforward. There's a rail along the bottom here, which you're going to have to remove for the browning process. But this is something you have to assemble, just a couple screws. Nothing major. There's some screws on the other side of here, so they're hidden. Nice design. You have the barleycorn, not barleycorn, the, oh, darn it. I don't use those. The buckhorn, traditional kind of sight there. You might notice spots of rust. That's just really minor surface rust. Something I don't even have to remove when it comes down to the bluing process. The brass, we'll see what happens with the brass. I might need to repolish that after the browning. Sorry, it's being browned, not blued. Same process, but if you want to know about that process, tune into the next video. Let me get my mousse out of here. So here we're left with the stock. It's nice, light. Who wants to see it spark? There you go. It's a double set trigger. Set. That is like, I don't even think that would measure. Let's find out, shall we? Oop. Okay, I'm going to pull the set trigger first. Set trigger. Let's see what poundage we're getting on this. Sorry if you can't read that straight up. That broke at 10 ounces. I'll do that again. Just under a pound there. So it's just under a pound on the hair trigger. It's a little hard to see under here, but you can see there's two screws. Those are your screws for adjusting the trigger weight. You can adjust this all the way down to where you pull that in them. Yeah, not good. The other thing about double actions, you can just pull on the front trigger. It's a heavier strike, but you can do it. All right, so let's have a look at the inside, shall we? And the process of building this went really smoothly. I didn't have to do too much here for fitting the trigger guard. Just a matter, again, of bending it. And the clearances, I think, were quite good. I don't remember having to do anything to the clearance. There's some gaps you may not like, but not a lot you can do about missing wood. I suppose you can go... Oh, no, I don't need to take that off. Let's take this... the serpent off. Now, the one thing about this serpent, there are two screws, which would be traditional on most flintlocks, but in this case, the front screw is just decorative. Not decorative, it serves a function of holding it in place, but the lock mechanism is held on with two screws. So in order to get to the second screw, this is my modification. This isn't part of assembly. The actual firearm. So I'm going to take my decorative screw out, which I've fire blued the screws on this one. There's our actual screw there for the lock. I just countersunk it so everything would fit flush. There are little brass estrunchions here washers that will stop you from pulling through the wood when you build it stock. So there's the lock mechanism. There's not a lot to it. It's very traditional. Let's get a close-up. There's the lock mechanism. I'm not going to try working it out of the rifle just because I don't want to chop my fingers off by mistake somehow. So you got your mainspring, you got your stirrup there, you have your trigger, and then you have your tumbler, which is connected to your hammer. And you can see it's connected back here. Even though the hammer looks far forward head, it's actually connected all the way back here. And then you have your frizzen, your pan, and your cock. And you also have a small spring here. That's for the frizzen pan to hold it down. On the inside, the firing mechanism is pre-assembled, so you don't have to do anything about that. There is a small spring in here, which I'm not too sure why. Oh, that's the spring for holding the. Sorry, this spring here is for holding the guide rod, the ramrod in when you slam the ramrod home. It should go through this back screw here, so it should be locked in place with that screw. Do you guys want to have a look at the trigger? Let's have a look at the trigger mechanism. These rifles, they're not the cheapest thing in the world to buy, even as a kit. I mean, compared to modern firearms, especially in the US, you can pick up, you know, a used firearm for $100 or $2. These guys, they'll run you about $300 or so. Again, not horrible, but the way I looked at this when I built it, which is, you know, I want something that would be heirloom quality that I could pass down in family for a while, and they could say, hey, my uncle built that, my grandfather, well, I don't have kids, so maybe not a grandfather, but, you know, my uncle built that, or, you know, so forth, my cousin built that, and hopefully there'll be some pride, and hopefully our government won't come in and jackboot everybody and throw them in prison for having a flintlock rifle. The other aspect I want to make about these flintlock rifles that are really cool is, so there's one screw back here. These are the ultimate survival rifles, believe it or not. Most First Nations people will have, well, all northern communities there will be a handful of flintlocks around. And the reason why is you don't need lead bullets. You don't need primers. You don't need anything except for flint, which can be found readily almost anywhere in the world. And the other thing you need is black powder. And as we all know, commercial black powder is obviously superior than homemade. But in a pinch, you can definitely make homemade black powder. You can fill the barrel of this thing with pebbles or rocks. And you got yourself a shotgun for hunting small game and bird. Everybody talks about hunting down. So I've got to take out this top screw here, which connects to the bottom. Yeah, so these truly are the ultimate survival rifle. So there's the tang. It's not the breech. It is at the breech end, but this is a tang to hold the barrel in place. So when you get your rifle, you're not going to have this. That doesn't come in the kit. You can get them with these in the kit, but you'll get your butt plate, which you're going to have to attach. You're going to have to attach these, and I believe you have to attach that. But all those didn't take any fitting. The factory work was quite good. Oh, there's a bit more engraving on the front I forgot to show. So here's your trigger mechanism. It's quite simple. Again, I'm not going to mess with it outside of the rifle. But yeah, that's your trigger. How a double trigger works exactly, I don't really know, but there you go. So that's the whole rifle disassembled. I'm not going to show a reassemble of it. I hope you guys liked the video. As I say, definitely check out Traditions firearms if you're into wanting to do something like this. There's no shame in what you do to something like this. You can do this however you want. You can go tactical and put lasers and sights and grenade launchers. It's a modern firearm. It's meant to have fun. You don't have to be so stuck up and do everything historically correct. But that's my my baby, my pride. I love this one so much. I put so much work into it. I think I'm probably going to restain it. I'll wait for you guys. I want to vote. I'm going to do the browning on the barrel, and then I will wait for a vote whether you guys think I should do this much darker, almost like I'm not going to say this is, I think, mahogany dye. But anyways, I'm thinking much darker, almost like a dark chocolate. So I'm going to put this away, and I will start the browning video. So 5 days from now, you'll be seeing the finished barrel browned, and we'll go from there. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe. You guys have been absolutely amazing. I can't believe the support you've been giving me. It means everything to me. I wouldn't be doing it without you guys. So thank you, man. We're halfway there. And I know I said man because I think there's only one woman. It's probably my wife. If I'm just half joking. I don't know how many women are out there. But anyways, how do you like that background? Isn't that fancy? It's all moving around. So thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and I will see you very, very soon.